Should we start yet? Yeah? Alright, Bismillah. 1, 2, 3. There. Let's start, bro. Go on. معلم. Who's the معلم? You're the معلم, sorry. Alright, let's start off, inshallah, by just introducing ourselves and what we're going to be doing, inshallah. This is the first ever, whatever we will call this, inshallah. Shako, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Shahi Shako.
Let's start. Shahi Shako, okay. Hussein, hello Hussein, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good, akhi. Can't complain.
Well, so this is our first podcast that we have together, and inshallah this will help a lot of people going forward. But before we go into it a little bit more, can you tell us what this channel is about, what this podcast are about, and what the expectations are, inshallah?
Yeah. So, ideally, my idea was basically have conversations, yeah, especially like around careers and like the tech sector and just normal general careers, because I'm in the tech sector, so I'll always gravitate towards that, but it doesn't have to be pigeonholed into the tech sector only. So, because generally I have a lot of people that come and ask me a lot of questions about, how do I get into the industry? How is it working at such and such? How is it working in the cloud? How is it working in DevOps? So I have a lot of conversation, like offline and online as well. A lot of people from different varying backgrounds. Obviously, a lot of majority would be like people from the same background as me, so Somalis or Muslims generally. But alhamdulillah,
Right.
get like plenty of people asking. So I thought it would be quite good to get perspective of what people have been through, how people got to a certain stage, because you get a lot of anxiety, especially if you've not worked in an industry before, to know how is like a day-to-day of a person. So alhamdulillah, if you can benefit someone that's just starting off or still in the beginning of their career, or just for people that like even established, just hearing people talk, there'll be jokes, there'll be unique perspectives of people, the journey that they've taken, or certain things that they do, or the way they function, and alhamdulillah, just learn from it. And
yeah, perfect. So basically, exactly. So basically, what you're saying is this whole panel is all about, how generally everything to do with career. So it doesn't matter whether that person wants to get into IT or not. It's across the board. And are you also saying that it's for also people who want to get into IT and want to be drawn on experiences um, from your IT background? Because obviously, um, you're obviously going to introduce yourself in a minute, but in terms of like when you have a DevOps background, showing people how to get into IT support and also different fields that are for IT like cybersecurity, and so just if you could draw on that up, good as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's the case, man. So like I said, we don't need to restrict it to IT only, but IT and generally the tech sector is something that I'm familiar with, so I can personally help and personally talk about certain things. But it can be like how to get into medicine, how to become a doctor. And I know of people that are studying like medicine now in this country. I know people that are studying medicine like in the Balkan countries, if you can say so, like Hungary and Romania and Bulgaria and these kind of countries. And I don't know if the class is the Eastern Bloc, but those regions basically. And then because they were in the EU, you can come back and practice as a doctor in this country. So that is like certain things that you don't know about. Certain men are doing it, and you're like, whoa, okay, let me see, because I'm interested in that path. Let me see if I can learn something, and it's something that can benefit me. So you can get all sorts of things, man. Yeah. If you want to be a general manager in a store, if you want to be a CEO of a company, we try to find CEOs, inshallah, hopefully. But it's mostly trying to give like good role models for Muslimin and Somalis here, because nowadays there's so much facade in the world, man, especially for the younger generation. There are people that quite career driven, but there are people that generally on the streets, man, basically. So just showing them an alternative to say, look, it don't need to be like that. we're chasing money, but alhamdulillah, you can earn it in a halal way. Yeah, there's plenty to be made here, bro.
No. It literally is, and I think that's part of the problem because people don't have access to, like people who are already in the field that you can hold their hand and tell them, okay, this is what you do. It's a bit difficult, and then they have to rely on other people to learn that from. And sometimes they literally, someone tell them get into IT or get into this field, and they don't have no mentors to do so. And what they'll do is sit down and watch a course, and then from there they just don't know where to go from. So it's always important to have like a collection of people to go to, so that they can literally give them step by step guidance, and wherever they're going wrong, and that you've got this bunch of people to communicate. So I think that's why this channel was brought up, because not only are we going to be giving advice from different angles, and more people will be coming in anyway, but you also have this level of community that can also help you and guide you and all that sort of stuff, which is very important. But alhamdulillah, this is a blessing for everyone. So before we go further, Hussein, can you introduce yourself, what you do, so people know?
Inshallah. Before that, can I just ask you, because I can't really hear you too well, are you close to your mic or you're not close to your mic?
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me
now? Slightly better. How am I sounding? Am I okay, or do I sound?
Yeah, you're quite good. Let me just check my. Yeah, I'm quite good actually. Not hearing at all.
It sounds like you're.
What about now? Is it better?
Oh, this is way better, man. It's way better.
Technical issue, but we got it in the end.
Alhamdulillah. Was he pointing at a different mic? Yeah.
I was pointing at another mic. Unfortunately.
Mashi, no problem.
So so as I said, if you could tell me a bit about yourself, what you do, how you got started, so everyone just knows the background of the people on this podcast.
Cool, inshallah. Well, I'm Hussein Mohammed, or Hussein Abdullah Mohammed, but now I'm a DevOps
government name, yeah.
You want me to go after you? Take your order way back.
Take your order, yeah.
Right now, I mean, we can go there, but now, so day to day, I'm a DevOps engineer. Currently, I work through a consultancy. I'm a freelancer, so doing contracting with a company, and we're currently deployed to the home office. So we're working on a project, a top secret project, and it is literally a top secret project, so I can't share any details at all. But now, very interesting working with hybrid cloud, AWS, and just working like with current DevOps tooling and all the DevOps techniques. And prior to that, I started this in October. So what is that? A few months? January now. So 3 months, I would say 3-4 months. Easily, it's 3-4 months that I've been here. And prior to that, I was working for the past, I would say, 1.5 years or so. I've been working mostly in consultancies, whether big or small, just generally consultancies, doing DevOps engineering, cloud architecture. And
what does that mean though for the audience?
Yeah, well, okay. I forget
the basic of terms.
Yeah. All right, so DevOps basically means working in a way where developers and operations work together cohesively. So like back in the day, let's call it back in the day, like a few years ago, around 10-15 years ago, up until now, and you get a lot of organizations where the way they work is not quite cohesive. And generally, if you're not, your developers, the people that actually build your software or product that you have, that will sit there and code. If they don't work with the people that work in operations, so operations is another set of teams where you have all of the people that look after your servers, your networking infrastructure, and generally upkeep that piece of code that the developers have written in production. So let's say now if you go to google.com, someone is coding google.com. So when you go to search, that is actually searching the right terms, looking at the right places. It's hitting databases that is creating the crawlers and stuff that you know about from things that are working the way they are. So all of this is written in code. So developers will be writing that in code, and then you would have operations. Well, this is the older way of working, but now Google has certain things. But just for uh, argument's sake, operations would be the people that would run this code in production. So you would have servers for them, you would have storage for these servers where all of the code lives. So when you get all of these search results, it's able to show you on a front end somewhere. So this code would need to run somewhere. So it would need front end servers, back end servers, databases. It would need a whole lot of technology, like from either physical hardware or like virtual machines. So operations team would generally be looking after that. So what would happen back in the day is people would take the developers that write in the code, they will go, okay, I've written a code, hey, you make it run. They haven't as in tested how it would run in the production environment. So if I write this code and I've tested it on my laptop, it necessarily won't behave in the same way if you take that into production, which is, let's say you've got a server farm that's running. Operations team might have to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G to make it work. So now if you've only tested for A, B, C, and you say it's working, and he takes it, and google.com goes down for like 15, 20 minutes to an hour to a day to like a few weeks, you can see the bigger issue here. So that would happen a lot. It's cool code, chucking or lobbing the code over the wall. So there was like an imaginary war between these two people. So they won't be able to, well, not able, but they wouldn't necessarily intermingle and sit together and work on problems together. It's more like, here is the problem that I had, which is the coding bit. I've solved that problem. Now this is your problem to do. So they will just be wasting a lot of time sending problems back and forth. So they're saying, it's your problem, it's your problem, it's your problem. So DevOps is just getting them to come together and work cohesively so it's more of a culture.
Collaboratively, yeah.
More of a culture, more of a collaboration environment, more of a strategy, more than a job role. So even though I'm a DevOps engineer, I would call myself an operations engineer that's called myself a developer, basically. So there is technically not a person
right in the middle.
Engineer. There won't be technically a DevOps engineer as such. You still have operations people, and you will still have developers.
So it's basically a mix of developer and also a bit of infrastructure at the same time, and you're bringing the two.
Historically, operations people would create servers and manage servers and manage infrastructure. And when they're doing all of this, they will be doing it like in a very mundane way. They would do it via GUI, repetitive. Some people would automate that stuff. So developers work in a very specific way where they're writing code. They'll be using source control. They'll merge that code in. There will be peer reviews. Another developer will look over it. They have pair programming. So these are some of the ways of workings of developers that when you work in a DevOps environment, it's encouraged for the operations people to, as in, take some of these habits on. So instead of you creating everything manually, it's not mandated, but it's basically, I can't say this word properly, which is why I'm trying to go around it. Encouragement. That's it. Encouragement. Encourage that you.
It's going around the block.
Because I was trying to figure it out in my mind before I said it, but it was taking too long. I just had to say that out loud. Just encourage that you basically take on some of these practices. So it's automate as much as possible, create the infrastructure using code, put that in a version control system, have literally peer reviewing on that. So whenever you're deploying to production or deploying into any environment that is what you call them, gated, basically, is gated. So instead of anyone doing anything, because the biggest problems that happen in most environments is that people do it manually and they always forget a step, because humans are humans. But once you make it automated and you're writing code, is written down and the machine is doing it. So if you give it the right steps, it will do the same steps again and again.
Exactly, and it won't forget. So
that's, like, if that's for a human. Even if you give him a sheet with every step in there, he will do 9 times out of 10 times he's going to do it the way it is, but that one time he's going to forget. But as for a machine,
that's the problem.
That's all it does. So it's going to be 10 out of 10 times it's going to do the same thing. Well, we're hoping so, being there, but even machines.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all good.
Yeah, but so cool. That's a good, a nice background. so people are familiar. So it's very extensive work that you do. So let's talk a little bit about career.
Mhm.
So say for someone who, you know, let's look at a different scenarios. I'm saying,
Mhm.
so for the people who don't have no, so say they're in working in retail. Let's start there. People
Mhm.
who graduated or wherever they may be, but they're
Mhm.
working in a retail environment, and they want to establish a good career. They want to,
Mhm.
a better salary, a better place to work. Maybe they want to work from home as well,
Mhm.
um, and all these types of opportunities, right?
Yeah.
What advice would you give them, and where would they Where would they start? It could be IT, it could be marketing, it could be, you know, media. What would you tell that person the first step of moving out of that job that they don't like doing and going into these professional worlds, if you like, or corporate world? What would you advise that person?
Well, I always advise to do is to take that first step. Yeah, it's always
Yeah.
take that first step. Just thinking about it and talking about it is not going to do anything. You need action. I myself come from that background. I don't have a degree in IT yet. I don't have a degree generally. Uh, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't. I started studying IT vocationally, specifically to get into the industry. So yeah, you can do that same thing in any field that you choose. Apart from like certain places like being a doctor, being a lawyer, being a chartered surveyor, somebody needs to verify that this is the actual knowledge, and then you need a shahada for that. But
Yeah.
most other jobs, work experience, and you being able to do that job, and literally will get you the will get you the role. Basically, will get you in through the door, and you working hard every day and it's showing your worth would get you further down in your career too. So taking that first step is what you gotta do. Because I started off as what was I doing when I started IT? I was working as a security guard at that point. So
Yeah.
I used to work as a security guard in Boots. I got fired because I don't I wasn't that good of a security guard. Yeah,
But look at that. Look at that. Exactly. Yeah.
who would think man of my size? You would think that I'm a perfect man for a security guard. I wasn't into
The
Yani.
best, perfect, perfect
Yeah,
size.
but Jim, that's what I mean. Yani, it wasn't my cup of tea to be honest. Too confrontational. You have to have soothing of people. You lose faith in humanity, man. Yeah, you think this person. Oh, I thought you were a right person, but la ilaha illallah, man, like you, a woman like you, that don't look like it needs this, is stealing that rubbish, like a little
Hello.
cream from
وحروديك
boots and
قاعد
stuff. Yeah, you're like, ايش هذا محاكاة كده والله I caught a man. Uh, wow. Well, let's just say it. He was a Jewish man. He was wearing his yarmulke.
yeah.
I used to work in Euston Station. Man comes in, he was suited, comes in, and he goes straight to the back of the thing. And do you know what he stole? He stole a
What
couple of insoles.
you
Yeah.
be serious.
Wallahi. I was like, Ish. Then when I caught him, he said, oh, I didn't steal it. Oh, I said, bro, I saw you everything. It's recorded. He's like, I'll pay for it. I said, Subhanallah, why did you pay for it to begin with?
It's,
Bro, you don't know.
if they can get away with it, they will get away with it,
Yeah,
isn't
so
it?
I don't know. It's a
So,
bus thing for some people. Some people it's a necessity thing because we used to have a pharmacy in there, and there's a lot of people that were like drug addicts. So they'll come to get the methadone. So a lot of them would try it, and they would know that they'll be watched because the general appearance. Yani, you don't want to be that person, but bias is bias, and you start looking at people that look the part. So yeah, and then you
yeah,
see it, and most of the times they'll be like, "Oh, what are you looking at me for? You think I'm gonna steal?" I said, "Bro, I'm not. I don't think you're gonna steal." But most of the people that come in, they try to steal something. So it is what it is, isn't it? So Alhamdulillah, yani, I just didn't like that, man. It's too confrontational, bro, for me. I just want to be left alone. I want to leave people alone and just do my thing. I
yeah,
got,
exactly. Just
I got two people in 2 years. Tells you how good of a security guard I was.
yeah. Two people only 2 years.
Their things went missing from that show.
You let them. You literally let them
I didn't know.
empty the shop.
No, most of the time, I didn't have, the person I was suspicious of, I'll follow
Yeah,
them. But it will be because of the way the store was. The couple of them will come in. So if I fall in one person here, the other person is doing the actual damage. Yeah. By the time I get
Uh,
to the camera to see if they did anything, they've left the shop. So
they
yeah,
left.
yeah,
They know how to they went circles around people. Oh my god.
big time, man,
Yeah.
big time.
So
Alhamdulillah.
yeah,
So yeah,
no, that
sorry, we
yeah,
got we
yeah,
got
go
sidetracked completely from what I
ahead.
was gonna say. So yeah, I
No,
was working as a security guard. I did retail. I used to work in Poundland.
right.
So yeah, there comes a time that you go, you know what, I need to move on and do something better for my life. Yeah, I need to try to earn more, try to get
Mm,
a role that you can establish yourself in, and there's like a future within it. Like there's no problem. I mean, there's a lot of people that do retail, yes, but then you start reaching a ceiling within retail. You become like, I don't
mm,
know, shop floor assistant. You become like let's say assistant manager. You become a manager, area manager, da 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 da. And then you need to start moving into the boardroom. Yeah, and
yeah.
generally ways and generally to earn more in those kind of situations and situation is to become more managerial and become more yani, just managing people and
Basically,
managing things.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Whereas and to be, I don't know, it didn't when I used to be in retail, area managers and these managers didn't used to get paid that much. And the manager of the store would be on like 35, area managers on like 45, 50. I don't know. This
that'd
is
be a
like
lot of work, isn't
10,
it? Yeah.
10 15 years ago. Allah, I don't know. At least 12 years ago. This was
Yeah. I think
10,
they're
12
still
years
on
ago.
that sort of thing as well. Like my
I don't know how
managers,
much it is, but now
yeah,
most
around that.
jobs, like if you, especially if you move into tech, I come from tech, so I'm just going to give you my perspective. You can start off by, just doing like, let's say a junior type of role. You're looking at 35, 40
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. Even tech support is on that
Yeah, tech
35,
support
40-ish. Yeah,
easily. Well, some people try to take the mic now. So you probably be on 28 to 30.
yeah,
But yeah, when I started my tech support role, I started on at 30, 23. I was working
yeah,
for a college. Private sector generally doesn't pay that well. So yeah. But then if you're looking at DevOps engineering, cloud type of stuff, and software engineering, you're looking at big bucks, man.
yeah,
You're looking at
yeah,
40, 50, 60, 70. There's people easily clearing 95 to 100, 6 figures, man. Easy.
yeah.
If you become a data engineer, if you become like a quite a senior, I'm not saying that you're going to walk into that role from day one. You might have to
No,
graft it a little bit. Yeah,
and it's
start
gonna
off at a
take a lot of work
menial.
as well.
Yeah, start off at a menial 65 type of thing. I'm just joking. But this, well, it happens, bro. It
I
happens
think
for
they can
me.
easily get from like IT support, tech support
Yeah,
roles.
yeah.
You can easily start from like 27. As long
27
as you have,
onwards, 30. If you go
yeah,
now, look at the job boards, Monster, JobServe, Job Site. Go
and you have
Google.
the opportunity of like working from home because obviously,
Yeah,
like even long, not
that's
just
an
because of COVID, but like long term as well.
yeah, alhamdulillah.
2, 3 days
And another
working from
thing
home.
is a lot of the roles generally have become online because everybody's office based now. Most of them use computers. So a lot of times, unless you're actually selling a service face to face, like
Yeah,
if you're in the hospitality sector, you're selling food, you're selling food or you're selling food behind the counter, you're selling like items in a shop, brick and mortar, then okay, understandable. You can't work from home. If you're a doctor, if you need to be in court to represent your client, if you need to be an engineer, you have to go to site because the building site, you have to look at the things. So things like that, okay, understandable. But every other job, IT scale or IT everything, you don't never need to see anything, bro.
yeah.
Unless
It's
there's
so
a
big in itself, and you
catastrophic,
choose
yeah.
which path. Yeah.
Unless it's a catastrophic failure, you don't need to step into a building. We always used
No,
to
it's
say
true.
this. It wasn't as common to do remote work. Let's say 3, 4, 5 years ago. In the last like 5, 6 years, I would say more and more remote work started happening. More like a couple of days from home, and now COVID is just showing that you don't need to never be out in the office. So just pack up shop and just do everything remotely, as long as you still providing the same level of service and same literally product.
Yeah.
By all means, man, make it easy for everybody and save
Yeah,
yourself some money.
exactly, exactly. And just to break it down for them as well, like for
Mm-hmm.
example, I started with IT support and desktop support roles. But generally IT support, tech support, all you're doing is literally is you're creating user accounts, you're basically supporting users, you're the first point of contact for every user that comes into the company.
Yeah.
You'll be looking at boardrooms, helping CEOs or stuff. And these are like, after a while, it's repetition, and then basically you start learning from that, and then you can start moving into other positions. So with IT support and tech support, what I like about those roles is that you get to see the bigger picture. You get to see all the departments. You get to see, you get to deal with all these different departments like software engineering, DevOps, you know, infrastructure, cloud. You're dealing with these people and you're seeing exactly what they do. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
can sit down with one of them and say, okay, what do you do? Show me an hour or whatever. And then after you do your due diligence, then you can decide what path you want to take, and you just basically just speak to that manager. Or and the good thing with IT is, if you like a specific area, like say you like cloud, Azure cloud, or AWS, as Hussein
Mm-hmm.
does,
Yeah.
then what you can do is just literally book do an online course, learn all those technologies, create your own labs, play around with it, and go straight into it. It's
Yeah.
very easy to get into those paths. But yeah, it's really, and also for I just don't want to focus on tech, but even the same concept with marketing. For example, if you're looking at SEO, search engine optimization, and social media management, then you basically just book those courses, play around with it, create your own WordPress site, write as many blogs as you can, and just like literally, there's a course for everything, and it's just
Yeah.
applying your mind and speaking to the right people at the right time, and creating your portfolio, and you're done. So it's just what I realize is that university don't teach you this, unfortunately.
University is more there for certain. I don't know what they're there for, to be honest. Unless you're there to get a degree that means something, in the sense, yani, it's a qualification of you going through. What they're doing is basically qualifying that you were at an institution for like 3 to 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you're literally measuring somebody's ability to learn over this period of time, and then say, okay, they have been taught this, and this, and these things are fundamental. Yeah. So like a degree in tech generally goes out of date by the time it finishes. Yeah.
Yeah,
But like if you're studying medicine, or if you're studying stuff that is going to stay constant, so like there's studying law is not going to change over a period of time that quickly. Yeah. And then again, you need somebody to be able to say, okay, this person has studied law, so we've tested him on whatever it is they test you on. Yeah. You have
yeah,
to take your bar and whatnot. Whatever they
definitely.
test
Like,
you
yeah,
enough,
yeah, stuff for
that's
like medicine
understandable.
and
Yeah.
law. Yeah.
Well, has a lot, I understand. But come on, tech man. Behave yourself, man.
Yeah,
You sit at
even me,
home, learn on YouTube.
I studied media and communication, and I wanted to get into marketing, so but I couldn't really,
Bro, I'm not
you
gonna
know.
lie, those degrees, bro. What's the purpose of them? Allah
Do you know
alam,
what
it's
it is?
just
It's just you
go to
have to have
invest.
passion for those rights. You know, just
I
like
understand you have to have
build.
passion. I'm not paying 9 grand to go do that when I can go to Udemy and pay that course, pay a course
But
for
that's what I'm
£10.
saying. But people, what we know now, they
Mm-hmm.
don't know then. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the same way we didn't know then. So
I
that's why
know.
it's all about mentorship and guidance and whatever. Because what I realized is after sixth form or whatever, people is like, I don't know what to do. Okay,
Yeah.
and your mom and dad, especially Somali family, are saying go do
Go university.
education.
That's
Yeah,
that's what
university struggle.
it's not just Somalis and
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah, I know. It's not just Somalis. It's generally a society
it's
thing. Yani,
it's a society
oh,
thing.
what's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you
yeah.
do? You do. Yani, you go to school. You do your college. You go to university. You graduate. You get married. You do your thing, type of thing. Yeah. Who said you gotta do it in that order? Who said you gotta do a degree? Yeah. At
Yep.
the end of the day, your goal is what? Yani, firstly, our first goal it should be to worship Allah.
No.
Yeah, not to firstly go and get the biggest job that you can, but alhamdulillah, and then it's to provide for your family, have a family, provide for your family. So there's nothing stopping you getting married at 16 as soon as you leave college. Yeah,
Yep.
as soon as
Yep.
you leave school. Yeah, there's nothing stopping you getting married at 40. Yeah, after you do everything that you needed to do. Alhamdulillah, everybody's got their choice. Yani, that's why I didn't never understood where uh, you had to go through a certain path. And to be honest, I did go try to do a university degree. I did pharmaceutical science. When I did
Wow.
that, wallahi, I just thought, what is the point of this, bro? What is the point of that?
Can you do it
And
as a
boy,
lifetime?
yeah,
It's
and
probably
to be honest,
thinking
it
that
was
you
just
have
a,
it.
it was a rubbish degree just for the sake of being a degree type of thing. What could I do with it? Not a lot. I'll probably be sitting in a lab doing a lot of testing on pharmaceutical products, or I could be like a pharmaceutical rep that goes around and does sales for pharmaceutical companies. I just had to. That would have just been a gateway. A lot of people, what they did was they did that degree, and then they would have got a year off in a pharmacy, in a pharmacy degree, and they become a
Mhm.
pharmacist. So a lot of people did that. Some people did masters. Everybody that did pharmaceutical science. I don't know one person. I only know one person that got a job in the same field in the pharmacy, in the pharmaceutical
Oh,
field.
really?
Yeah, the rest of the people that I was in contact with, no one, everybody abandoned ship. All they studied pharmacy and they became pharmacists. So yeah, I thought I left halfway going, do you know what? What is that point of this firstly?
What's the
Secondly, there's
purpose?
other
Do you
reasons
even
as
like
well.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's other reasons as well. But that's one of the main
yeah.
reasons as well. Like, what a silly degree this was, man.
And that's what I'm saying. You can literally learn, pick up a course on Udemy, learn
Yeah,
AWS, and yeah, just apply for jobs in AWS if you
well,
wanted to.
you can learn editing online. You can learn whatever you want to learn online on YouTube. You
It's
don't even
so
need to
true,
pay
Allah.
sometimes. YouTube are
Yeah.
free kabuha wa walbama.
Do you know
Learn
what
how to
people
code.
actually do, Hussein, as well?
Well,
What they do is that the people who want to work from home, what they do
mm-hmm.
is that they go on Udemy, they
Yeah,
they basically buy a course on, say, Final Cut Pro editing or Premiere Pro editing, or
yeah,
marketing or social media management courses. They finish that, right? Once
mm-hmm.
they do that, they basically go on Fiverr or Upwork and they sell their services there. They
Yeah.
literally do it for
That's what
freelancers, like Monday to Friday,
that's what you do,
and they get
bro.
booked in.
That's
Yes,
what you
it's
do.
simple as that. That's the same way I learned. I wanted to get into IT. I just studied A plus, Net plus. I done a bit of technology training for my own self, and then
Yeah,
and then I got an IT job. So it's the same formula, literally. It's just applying your mind and
yeah.
putting the work in.
You need to decide firstly what you need to do. If you want to get into IT, you want to get into DevOps, into cloud, into a specific field, you need to first thing that you do is make that conscious decision that okay, this is what I want to pursue. Yeah. Once you've made that conscious decision that this one I want to pursue, do istikhara, then go, you know what? I'm all in now. Let me go
Mm,
pursue this. Let me find out what I need to do, what steps. All is not gonna come in one day. You just have to start. Say today, I'm gonna go buy this course. I'm gonna go through this course. When you're doing that course, you hear a lot of terms. You're like, what the hell is this? You Google that. You find someone. You open your LinkedIn. You open a LinkedIn account if you don't have one already. You find
yeah.
people that work in the same industry. Start contacting them. Start adding them as friends. Start asking questions. Can you mentor me? Can you do this? Can you find me a job? 90% of the people won't even give their gratitude time of the day. One or two people will. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely,
Alhamdulillah.
definitely.
And then from there you carry on and you make more people go to events. A lot of people, yes, in IT and generally tech, there's a lot of meetups that used to happen, but now it's all online. You can just join them and say, yeah, look for places to do work experiences. Charities is quite a good place to go look for work experience because they always need people and they don't have the funding. Some of
Mm.
them do, some of them don't, but good to ask.
Yeah,
Schools,
that's another thing as well. Like people who do want to
yeah.
get, I've been asked a lot of time as well. Like people who want to get into IT and they want
Go
to
to
do,
your local coffee shop. If
what
you're
would
in
you
graphic
ask them?
design, go to your coffee shop and say, "Can I design your menu for you?" It's
Yeah.
not costing them anything. They say no, get lost. Like, thank you very much for your time. I'm not gonna buy coffee from you anymore. I'm gonna go to the other shop. You can do what?
It's simple as that. It's just that grind. It's just,
Yeah,
are you willing to do that? You definitely
it's
go
that
far.
action. You just gotta put action in.
Yeah.
It might not be the right action to begin with, but putting action in would give you the motivation to do more action. Because once you do an action and you see some fruit from it, you're like, Allah, alhamdulillah, you start doing more. Do you understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
As for if
100%.
you get the analysis paralysis, you're thinking, how am I gonna do it? Let me plan it out. Let me do this. For some people it
Forget the
works.
plan. Just jump straight into it
But
and
you
just do
might
it.
get into that stage where you detailing something that you just need to go, can I get a job? And they say, yeah, we need someone. It might have been that simple, but you've like, I'm gonna write a dialogue of, I'm gonna ask him, can
No,
I
do you
get a
know
job?
what it
He's gonna
is?
say no. I'm gonna
I,
counter him with this.
I feel like even with people like tech or whatever, yeah, what they do is
Mm-hmm.
they finish a whole course, right? Once
Yeah.
they finish the course, they're like, okay, I can't apply for a job yet. What I'm gonna do, I need to create my lab. I need to do all of that stuff, and then
Mm-hmm.
I need to know every single that course I just created. I need to know. I need to go through every single
I
video,
know,
yeah, and I need to go
bro.
through it
I'm
hard.
laughing because I know what we do behind the scenes, and we know what we're talking about. So yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Wallahi, you're so true. There's so many people that are like that. But to be honest, you have to realize that people are of different mindsets as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
everybody thinks like me and things like you. Some people are
yeah,
like
yeah.
quite wary of doing certain things. Well, at the end of the day,
No, no.
you need the
The thing
initial
is, I'm
action.
saying,
Yeah,
I'm exactly like that sometimes as well. Where I'm
yeah,
like, okay, I need to go through all of this course and then know everything. But sometimes you just have to be like, bun this,
yeah.
just do it,
I'm
make your
telling you,
mistakes, and
the
just
I
learn
know
like that.
the
Just
best, the
jump in and
best, the
learn.
best way to learn is on the battlefield because it's
It's
do or
doing.
die.
Ah,
Do or die.
ah.
Even if you die, you've done a few things to figure out what's happened. And
Is it
for your next battle, you'll be much better prepared. Yeah.
exactly? Is
But
that
what I'm
about
saying
I'm
is,
dying
if
or
yeah,
that's it? Yeah.
but if you're basically, let's say this, if you're not working in an industry, you're in a dark room, yeah,
Mm.
and whatever I tell you, because I'm inside the industry already, I'm saying, oh yeah, I've been at that stage. You know that dark room that you're in now? Yeah, there's a light switch there. Where is it? It's mandatory. If you walk 3 steps to the left and then do 3 spins, and then you press raise your right hand, and then you 90 degree it, and you press a button that is there. No matter how
That's
much I
it.
say it to you, you have to do these actions. Yeah.
It's simple as
In a
that.
sense, yeah, Ali.
That's a really good analogy, actually.
Yeah.
That's a really
So
good
what I'm trying
analogy.
to say is you have to go through certain things. Allah will make it easy for you, or Allah might prolong it a bit. For some
Mm.
people, I know people never been in IT, get straight into DevOps and become like DevOps engineers. Whereas I've been grafting for how many years to get to this stage?
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's risk and path is different.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts people in certain situations for a reason, but it's
Yeah,
about you putting your effort and begging
alhamdulillah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala,
That's what
and
I
then
mean.
just
Alhamdulillah.
bismillah.
I might be in IT for 15, 20 years. I come in and there's this guy that just graduated and he becomes my manager. Yeah,
Yeah.
or he's the
So,
team lead. Alhamdulillah, it is what it is. Yani, there's no hard feelings, there's nothing, bro. You're on your own path, I'm
no.
on my own path. But that's what I mean. But that person had to start. I had to
Yeah.
start. We both had to start. He chose his path, I chose my path. So you need to do the same thing. Yani, you've chosen your path. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do action. You might find the biggest shortcut in the world and you go straight to the top of the food chain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas some people are still working from the bottom, eating a few fish, pescatarian first, or the herbivores first. They become pescatarian. They get to red meat, or they eat chicken, white
Yeah.
meat. Then they get red meat, and then they get whatever they want, type of thing. You see the analogy here. So
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
basically what it is. So yeah,
Yeah.
most people give you advice from their experiences, and it's biased because of their journey that they took. So whatever I'm telling you now is going to be very biased on how I literally did what I did in this industry. We have to take this common in everybody's path.
Yeah.
This common literally, how do I say this? There's a common Walid Madanio, come on.
The common courtesy. No.
No, there's a common thread going through all of the people is yani, you make a
I know what
decision
you're
on what you
talking
want to
about.
do. Do you know what I mean? Innit?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
It's
common
not coming to my
bloody
mind as well.
theme. Common theme. That's
So,
it. Common theme.
nah,
It's
it's another
also
word I think.
a common theme. That's what I wanted to say. A lot of them, if there's a better saying than that, but
Common
there's a
concept.
there's a common theme that's running through everybody that does something.
There's a
Is
theme. Yeah. Yeah. There's
you
this.
make a
We have this.
decision, alhamdulillah,
Uh,
you act
but first
upon.
things first, as well. Yeah, is
Mhm.
that none of this will happen without Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. That's
That's
one thing they need to
that's
know.
la bud. That's
You
that
know,
goes without
if
saying, man.
if you're not waking up for Fajr in the morning and begging Allah Subhanahu wa Taala
Yeah,
for
oh,
this,
that's
yeah,
the most muhim point.
yeah,
It
you may
has to
not get
be,
it, and you may get it because
yeah,
even if you do get it, then you need to know that you need to get this through barakah because
yeah.
Allah gives the dunya to whom He loves and to whom He does not
He
love.
doesn't know. You can
Nah,
see how many
so
wretched people are out there that you see that's successful in this
I
world.
think yeah, exactly. And
That's what I
sometimes
mean.
this is punishment for them.
Yeah.
So number one, we have to renew our intention and everything that we do, we have to do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and just be sincere and say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I want this to better myself and to better my dunya and al akhirah. That's it.
Oh,
And once you do this aspect, then inshallah follow the causes and the means, you know, because although you've asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then it's your step to take action and
Oh,
start doing
yes.
these in baby steps. And don't stress yourself out that you need to know everything the first day or second day or third day. Just take it in baby steps and just try your best, and Allah will just open the doors. And yeah.
No,
So
mashallah, that's very well said, akhi, wallah. That's very well said, yani, because at the end of the day, everything happens by the tawfiq of Allah. You can try to move mountains, yeah,
yeah,
but if Allah hasn't written it for you to get into that role or get into that industry, then best believe you're not going to get into that industry. No matter what you do, you can move the heaven and the earth,
yeah.
yeah,
If it's
which
not
you
written for you,
can't,
it's not written for
obviously.
you.
Yeah. So alhamdulillah, you ask Allah for the tawfiq, and bidnillah, whatever outcome comes, you know it's by Allah firstly, and secondly, it's only for the good. Yeah,
No.
you
Yeah.
don't know where your good lies, so you have husnul dhan of Allah to say, like, Allah saved me from that place. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe I was going to get that road and become, lose my religion, or something adverse happens to me. So alhamdulillah, and you try. And if it doesn't happen, alhamdulillah, Allah will make another path for you. Yeah, which is why
Yeah.
it's the best to do your istikhara when you're making a decision like that to begin with. So when you're getting into IT, you're like, or you're getting into a new role, uh, let's say, yani, you didn't know. I'm just taking an example here. It might be a bit controversial for people, but not really controversial. Let's say you wanted to go into uh, finance, yeah,
Yeah.
and become like, I don't know, what's the guy? What's the biggest thing? The guy that sets all of the interest rates. You wanted to become that,
Yeah, I know
yeah?
what you're talking about.
But
Yeah.
let's say you didn't have the knowledge that this is haram,
Ah.
yeah? But if you had this sincere intention that Allah, make this khair for me, I want to pursue this, yeah? But you were literally, let's say, as a Muslim, you were
He
jahil
was
of that,
ignorant, huh?
yeah,
He was ignorant of
that
it.
this is
Yeah.
it. Then you go, Allah, make it khair. If there's khair in it, make it khair for me. If it's not, then keep the shit away from me. And you went all in to become this guy that does that fixes all of the interest rates in the
Yeah.
Bank of England. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
alhamdulillah. Then yani, Allah might facilitate that for you to say, look, this is my slave that doesn't want to get into haram. Yeah.
Mm.
So he's going to block all of the paths for you into to
Without
that
you
road.
even knowing.
Yeah.
Subhanallah.
And you don't know, and you're thinking Allah is making it difficult for me. And he
Yeah.
might open a path of, let's say, literally to become a doctor or to become a lawyer or anything which is halal of that sense. Yeah. Anything, yeah, you open
That's
your
what I'm
own business,
saying.
become an entrepreneur. You might get an opportunity to run a business in, I don't know, Uganda or Seychelles or Madagascar, whatever. You're thinking,
Yeah.
well, I don't want to do that. You
Yeah.
try that, you do another istikhara, say, Allah, if this is good for me, let me bless this for me or not. And then boom, you become a billionaire. You open like a telecoms company in a smaller country like Guinea or whatever. Guinea's not really a small country, but what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. You go back
Yeah.
home,
Yeah.
you open a business, you become like the Vodafone of Somalia. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know. Alhamdulillah. That's why you have to always tie all of your actions and bring them back to Muhammad to be in line with Islam. Because a
Yeah.
lot of people I've seen nowadays, and it's becoming more and more prevalent, where a lot of the youth, generally Muslimin and Somalis, to be very specific, are becoming quite lackadaisical with the religion. Yani, they're doing things or whatever. I don't know. Sooner or later, you start seeing Somalis working in bars and pubs, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It won't be a
Yeah.
far-fetched thing. Very soon, man.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. May Allah protect us all.
So, but alhamdulillah, may Allah protect us and give us risk, man.
I
Risk
mean,
tayyiba. And there's a dua that you do every morning, man. Yeah.
yeah.
It's evading me right now, but one of it
أحيانا
is that
بعد ما
Allah.
عمادنا.
No, يعني after when you know أذكار الصباح,
Hard.
do
Yeah.
one of it is Allahumma, يعني Allah grant me a risk which is طيب, يعني which is free from any pollution of like haram in it. So yeah, so alhamdulillah.
Inshallah, you remind us in the next podcast.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna bring up my Sahih Adhkar and pull it out بإذن. But it's there. It's just, when I'm chatting a lot of things escape me, bro.
Yeah, a lot of things escape me as well. But I think this was a good first good podcast. Where we discussed very important
Alhamdulillah.
stuff. And I'm really happy that we started it after
That's what I mean. We need to be
planning it along.
consistent,
At least we took
inshallah.
action, Hussein. We
Yeah.
we took action. At
We've
least we
talked
took
about this for
action.
how many months? And alhamdulillah, now it's
Yeah,
our first
I
one.
know.
We recorded it, bismillah. May Allah make
Inshallah,
it a
yeah.
means of blessing for us, ourselves, firstly, and then anyone that comes across it, bismillah. May Allah keep
I
her
mean,
intention sincere, man. Because to be
I
honest,
mean,
one of my main intention is because, you know, the kind of neighborhoods that we come from. How
yeah,
many of your friends that you grew up with are in a position that you can say, oh, you know what, alhamdulillah, I firstly support what he's doing, and secondly, mashallah, the brother is doing more for himself.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's true. Wallahi.
because I think you're still slightly younger, maybe because I'm slightly older than you. I'm in a slightly different predicament because you can count on one hand, man. And how many people did you grow up with? Too many guys, man. The people that you went Duxie with, people you went
No,
school
wallahi,
with,
even same here.
people you play
It's
football
same
with.
here. Yeah, yeah.
A lot of them either on the streets or they're not doing anything or they're not benefiting anything. It's become normal for people. Well, not normal. To be honest, no matter what job you're doing, as long as it's halal, alhamdulillah, it's good.
Very good.
What's stopping us to be doing the best that we can?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is what Allah expects from you to be
As a
the best
Muslim, we
version
should
of
be.
yourself.
Yeah, we should be trying to excel in everything that we do, man.
طيب.
Alhamdulillah, even when they're trying to pursue the dunya, not going into ghulu in it. May Allah protect us from that. But not to to do the best that you can. So don't, in my eyes, you shouldn't settle for being a just security guard. Obviously, it's a means for now, but I want to better myself. Yeah, I want to be the manager of the security guards. I want to own the company that the security guards are working in. Do you understand? Have like himma, have a higher aspiration to what you want to achieve. And
Exactly.
that's firstly
Wallahi.
with the deen. Yeah, that's firstly with the deen, and then with the dunya. Why not?
I know they're doing exactly, man, exactly. But the minute, like, it's a simple formula as well. When you focus on the al-akhirah, you already have attained it, the dunya anyway.
Yeah.
So you just have to know, like, okay, I'm gonna put all myself into the dunya and forget the akhirah. Then you're gonna end up losing both. So you have to always focus on the hereafter so that you're able to balance the both. Because Allah will put so much barakah in whatever you do as long as it's halal. Once you have sincerity and you want to do good for yourself and your family,
you might see that some people might have been given the dunya, some people that some people that you used to aspire to be like, some have been given the dunya, but they might not be barakah in their wealth or in their in the actions of the dunya, because it might be a form of test for them. So may Allah keep us away from being tested in our
may Allah
religion.
protect us all. Khair, inshallah. I think this is a really good podcast, and inshallah, any last words before we?
Not really. Alhamdulillah. Next week or next one we can do you bi'idhnillah, how you come about, what your history is. I don't know if I even shared and if it was beneficial, but I'll give it a re-listen and see if you can better it, and then take more notes for your ones bi'idhnillah.
Inshallah, yeah. I think I need to ask you more questions as well, to be fair, because I don't think we've explored
to be honest,
if
it's going to be a conversation, then alhamdulillah, it's even more genuine.
It's even better,
more thingy. It doesn't need to be that scripted, because questions can pop into your head, but there's like certain questions that you might want to ask. I might want to ask specific questions on how your career path was, for someone else to go, you know what, I'm completely clueless, let me just try to copy this. Let me do taqleed of what's his name did. What Du'ali did. Someone might to do that, alhamdulillah. So providing that kind of thing would be good. And then having people, inshallah, other people on the podcast, and then people learning from them.
And being consistent with it,
consistent with it, and having that group of people to speak to will be really
very important. Well, very important, very important. طيب.
Alhamdulillah, may Allah put barakah in this. Barakallahu feek, akhi.
Barakallahu feekum, Sheikh. Take care, brother.
Let's see if this recording turns out well.
Did you stop it? Yeah.
Not yet. I'm gonna end the recording now, and then we can.
Let me know how it goes. Hopefully,